Hey guys, I'm Alastair from Kale, the website that reviews outdoor gear and shares advice on how to do outdoor activities such as trail running, backpacking, camping, and even hiking. So this video today is going to be all about how I recover quickly from a running injury that I've had a couple of times in the past, and that is Achilles tendinitis. So I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physical therapist, but what I do have is experience in this injury. So experience is effectively knowledge anyway. So I'm going to be sharing my tips and offer advice on how I quickly recover from this injury. So there are quite a few ways in which you can get Achilles tendinitis. I'm going to list 3 ways that I believe are probably the most popular ways when running. Number 1 would be training too much too soon. So say you're on a training cycle or you've had a break from training for a few weeks or maybe even months and you try to do too much training too soon. That's going to agitate your Achilles area, or potentially agitate it and cause the issue. Another reason could be you're doing too many hills. That could be going up or even descending on hills quickly. You could be agitating your Achilles. And the third way in which you could be getting Achilles tendinitis could be your running shoes. So maybe you've got trail running shoes that actually agitate or press on your Achilles tendon, and that can cause inflammation and give you that Achilles tendinitis pain. So the reason I believe I personally get it is when I've had a break from training, I haven't been consistent in my running, and then I finally get my mojo back and I really want to push on my training. I kind of tend to do probably more hills than I probably should because I really enjoy climbing and ascending summits and seeing how quickly I can run up mountains or hills. I also test a lot of trail running shoes for trailandkale.com, so I'm very often trying out shoes that maybe sometimes I wouldn't wear myself personally. Maybe because they're uncomfortable or they are actually putting tension on my Achilles. So factors like those are usually why I tend to get Achilles tendinitis myself. Alright, so just quickly before I get into how I recover personally from Achilles tendinitis, I would recommend you consult a doctor for your injury. It's possible you don't have Achilles tendinitis, maybe you have it more severe than I do. From experience, I'm very good at stopping early when I get the feeling that Achilles tendinitis is coming on. So you might be further along in that injury and you might want to consult a doctor or a physical therapist. But these tips here are solely what I do, and hopefully it can help you out too. Okay then, so my first bit of advice to fix Achilles tendinitis would be stop running. It sounds pretty obvious, but actually this is the best thing you can do. If you're feeling Achilles tendinitis, that pain in the Achilles that runs up from the bottom of your foot up that Achilles tendon, then definitely stop because it's not going to get better with you running on it. The idea here with what I'm trying to get across in this video is you want to get it to a place where it's manageable, where you can do a little trial run on it after a set amount of time off from running. You want to be able to do that first run back. It has to be a very easy run, but you don't want to be making Achilles tendinitis feel worse throughout that run. So the idea here is to get it to a manageable point where you can run on it and actually do it some good by strengthening your mechanics and body mechanics around that area so that you can actually recover the Achilles tendon sensibly without overdoing it and putting yourself back in square one where you started off. So stop running on it, that's the first thing. And what you're going to want to do whilst you're stopped is maybe mix up your training. So don't run, but maybe get on your static trainer on your bike or go for a hike where you're not agitating your Achilles. A bike's really good because it's a very non-aggressive way to kind of move your Achilles. It's very smooth, there's not much impact there. And that's a very good therapy for your Achilles tendon. So I definitely recommend trying out the bike. If you are at a point with your Achilles tendonitis recovery where you feel you can do very gentle runs, then I would definitely recommend mixing up your shoes so you're not always running in the same pair of trail running shoes, for example. What that's going to do is alleviate some pressure points within the shoes on your feet, specifically on your Achilles, that's towards the back of your shoes. If you mix up those shoes, maybe you can get a pair of trail running shoes that has a low back wall where it wraps around your Achilles tendonitis area here. And maybe you've got one with more cushioning underfoot, or one that's got a slightly higher drop. That's also going to help your recovery phase. So definitely recommend mixing up your shoes. The other really important thing to be doing is keeping that blood circulation going around your feet. So you do want to keep moving, but moving in a way or doing something that isn't agitating your Achilles. So that could be things like really gentle stretching, also things like yoga, maybe some balance training, or body weight squats as well can be really good just to stretch your Achilles as you squat down. I wouldn't suggest putting any weight into those or additional weight into those squats. Another thing you should be thinking about is anti-inflammatory. So you can get anti-inflammatory from eating berries, for example. So we like to do this the natural way, so rather than taking any medication. Use berries, so blueberries are a really good one. Make sure you have lots of those. You can also use cold pads, so you could just put a cold pad in a freezer and just wrap that around your Achilles and leave it on there for, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes just to alleviate some of that pain but also reduce the inflammation in the area. Another really good tip for anti-inflammation would be to use a CBD roll-on stick or a CBD balm. So I've used these in the past, I still use them. There's a really good one from Venga CBD and also from Chill Wellness. I'll put these down in the description so you can go check them out for yourself. But what you want to do is just roll it onto the area gently if it's a roll-on stick. I really like those ones because they don't get your fingers kind of sticky from the balm. Really easy to apply as well. So you just roll on that CBD balm, and literally within a few minutes that's really going to help alleviate some pain in the area, but also it helps with anti-inflammation. Another awesome tip is to use a TENS machine or e-stim device, e-muscle stim. I've been using Compex devices for probably around 5 years now for injuries such as this, and what they're really good at is actually getting that blood circulation and twitching your muscles, so you're actually getting some low impact muscle recovery workouts going on there right in the area where you need it. So I really like that you can just stick it on, set the mode, set it and forget it, and they usually last around 20 minutes for the programs on these e-stim devices, but they're really good. They really do alleviate pain, and you'll find that you're actually giving that Achilles area a little bit of a workout as well, a little bit of a stretch through the device as well. So definitely recommend checking out a TENS device. With this TENS device, what I'm going to be doing is probably using it twice a day. If I do go for a little run to test out my Achilles, I'm going to be using that when I get home as well. I just find it really helps get over that initial kind of strain from the Achilles after the run as well. And once you've been doing all these things for, I don't know, say 5 to 7 days up to a week, whilst you haven't been running, make sure you do these things daily, because that will really speed up your recovery. But once you've been doing this and you feel like you're not really feeling the Achilles tendonitis pain anymore, maybe there's a really subtle amount of pain there and you feel like you could run on it without it getting worse, then definitely go for what I like to call a trial run. So that is literally going out on your most comfortable pair of shoes. Don't do any hill training. Literally try and find some flat terrain to run on, where you can really focus on your form of running, rather than going fast or doing anything too much too soon. What you want to be doing is seeing how many miles you can put in before you feel like your Achilles tendonitis is getting worse. So as soon as you feel like it's getting worse, that's when you stop, and you know you haven't had enough time off from running. So what you want to be doing on these trial runs is running as long as you can before it starts getting worse. If you feel like it's not getting worse, it's manageable, then keep running gently, focusing on your form where you're not feeling any pain from your Achilles tendonitis. And don't overdo it too soon. Quit the run before it gets worse, and maybe have a day off after that run and give it another go. Have another trial run and do exactly the same thing. And this kind of recovery is, it's worth doing. It is going to take time. You have to take time off running. There's no other way to fix this Achilles tendonitis, so you have to be smart about it. Be sensible. Take a little bit of time off now and enjoy more running in the future, rather than putting yourself in a situation where you keep going back to square one, and maybe you'll miss some of those future races that you've got planned, and you really don't want to do that. So take your time off, be sensible, enjoy the journey, learn from your experience, and hopefully you won't get in the situation again. And as I said before, the best way to really not get these kinds of injuries is to have consistent running. Never ramp up too quickly, never do too much too soon. And do extra cross training as well, like being on a bike and doing balance training to strengthen up your ankles and your glutes and all your muscles that support your running muscles. So I hope this video helps some of you guys out. Definitely give me a question down below if you've got any other questions. Maybe I haven't explained something properly on how I actually recover from my Achilles tendonitis, or maybe you've got a question on something I haven't covered. Ask it in the comments down below and I'll get back to you really quickly. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, it really helps our channel, and please consider subscribing to our channel for more videos like this and more outdoor gear reviews and tips on how you can successfully have an amazing time adventuring in the great outdoors. We'll see you next time. Thank you.